Hey guys, it's Gloopy1. I'm back with,
Sephorius the God.
and it's a little bit different. I'm not doing a PvP video today because there's something that took priority over it. As you can see, Kingsisle nerfed Dark Nova. And I do agree, Dark Nova was a little bit overpowered because you could just do Dark Nova into like a shield or into like a shatter, pierce, or whatever, and none of that buffed up Nova, but it would still just do 1600 over 2 rounds. Um, I like whenever they nerfed it down to 975, that's way too low, and I
Absolutely
agree.
agreed.
Yes, like it needed a nerf, but they just went overboard with this one.
Essentially, imagine all the Nova games you've ever played where you cast Nova. Imagine having a minus 40 weakness on for all of those games, because that's what it's going to be like in the future. How many of them would have lost? Probably all of them.
Yeah, like it's such a big nerf, and you look at like the new shadow hits, like Worm. One shadow pip, enchanted does I think 1068 for one shadow pip and 4 regular pips. Nova for 2 shadow pips does less than that, and
Yeah. Why would I ever Nova when I can Worm?
it's never worth it. And the balance isn't even one of the strongest schools. You look at something like Fire, their FFA is 1 shadow pip. It does 1000 base. Something like Weaver does like 900 base. They're just
There's just not enough damage.
It's just not enough damage to be worth. Like, why would I ever go for the 2 pip Dark Nova if I could just Worm twice?
And what do you think is the solution?
Well, if you look at it, and the way Nova used to be, it was what, like 400 to like 1200, I think, damage or something like that. It was 400 to over 1000 damage over like 3 rounds, I think, right? Or maybe it's been 2.
Something like that.
So I propose that you just bring it back and you make it 3 rounds to make Nova easier to respond to. So say if you have a card that you needed that you were pulling from side and you kept pulling for it, if Nova was 3 rounds, it would give you more time to pull, it would give you more time to react, and it wouldn't just be they use Nova and then they just wait it out and they kill you. 3-round Nova makes sense to me because if you look at it, Trickster 3 rounds, Strike's 3 rounds, Sentinel's 3 rounds, Seraph's 3 rounds. So why are the creatures not 3 rounds? And then if you do it 400 to say 1200 at the minimum, I think 1300 to where I would prefer it because I think the 3-round tick would make it like by itself a pretty big nerf because people would just wait. They could aftershock you, they could enfeeble you if they're storm, or that new fire spell. They could just steal 2 of your buffs, and if you gave them time with that 3 rounds. But I think 3 rounds is going to be a pretty substantial nerf to Nova. Along with if you just lose 300 damage. And then if it's 400 to 1300 or 400 to 1200, you can't just go for something like a Shatter or a Faint Shatter or something because it's not going to do the max damage. It's not going to do the 1600 damage. And if you go for 2 things that Nova doesn't like, then it's just going to do 400 damage. It's 2 Shadow Pips for 400 damage. It's not worth it. So people are going to have to buff up Nova. And it's gonna be a lot harder to Nova if it's over 3 rounds and it does the 400 to 1200, 1300. Because before you could just do something like a Green Oak and then you could pierce and then it would still just do the base 1600. If you Green Oaked into a pierce with the strategy I'm proposing, then you wouldn't do the max damage and Nova wouldn't be as powerful as it was.
Yeah,
But,
absolutely.
yeah, and
Nova was not uncounterable. You could use Aegis shields, you could heal it off.
Yeah.
You could aftershock, you could remove blades with like Enfeeble or Catch of the Day.
Shadow Blade, but I mean,
your fire spell's gonna be able to remove blades. Like it's relatively counterable. So I say it needs to be at least 1200 damage on Nova for it to be worth it, or do what Glip is proposing and make it buff the damage depending on what you do.
And you see, like with balance, I just took a dump on balance like every time. Like there's the lore nerf, there's both of the diffuse nerfs, there's the mana burn nerf, there's the gaze nerf, there's the worm nerf.
Still does not enough, but they're getting there.
Yeah. And then like people say, oh, lore needed a nerf because it was overpowered. Well, so was FFA. FFA needed a nerf because it was overpowered.
No, we will agree that Lord needed a nerf, but the balance is really taking a hit, especially since balance is the I would say the primary school that works with Dark Nova.
Wait, I'm saying like all these other spells like Weaver or something like that, they were also overpowered, but instead they just chose to go for lore. And I agree, lore did need the nerf.
Dark Nova is not powerful enough in general, but just especially as a balance wizard, it's kind of different, since they've just been like as you said, taking a dump on balance recently. So yeah, especially since Dark Nova is mainly utilized by balance in PvP, I think it's especially tragic.
And now that balance wizards, a lot of them went to Nova. I know a lot of my viewers said that they've switched over to Nova as opposed to classic balance. Now what are they gonna do? Because balance is garbage. I mean, you can still win, but it's really really hard considering all the other spells and all the other schools like could do so much more. It's such a bad nerf for Dark Nova. For 2 Shadow Pips, you do less than Sandworm for 1 Shadow Pip. Why would you ever, like, the Pure Jewels are harder to farm on Nova, the gear's harder to get for Nova, and it's all that, and then if just keeping classic balance is better than it, why would you ever do that? And, I don't know. Did you have anything, Sephorius?
I just want to say my thoughts on the update are that it's overall good. They're going in the right direction, but a little bit of rebalancing needs to take place with stuff like Gaze doing not enough, Dark Nova doing not enough, a Bomb still doing a little bit too much. But overall, I think this update has definitely made the game more balanced, and I'm happy in the direction that they're going.
I think it's a net positive update. Like, there's definitely more positive than negative, but the negatives are they're just so negative. They just need to like tone them back a little bit. Like, what's that, like a 625 nerf in damage?
Yeah,
that's just so much.
Too much.
And they could have done more things. Like, they could have made it 3 rounds and do like the overtime like they used to have it. But just a straight up damage nerf is usually never the solution to some things. Like for Worm, that was probably the solution, just straight up damage nerf. But whenever you look at something as tricky as Nova, which is one of the few spells that even cost 2 Shadow Pips in the game, it kills the strategy. Like that is the one surefire way.
Absolutely, yeah. If you care about Nova strategies, whether or not you use it, definitely get on Test Realm, use the comment use the comment
use
function.
the little bug thing
tweet
here.
them if you have Twitter, let them know that this is just absolutely not acceptable.
Send them this video.
Too much of a nerf for
Nova. I would agree. Yeah, it's reasonable that Nova should get a nerf. But whenever you just kill the card just because it's a little bit overpowered, that it doesn't make sense. So what you want to do if you want to help, because I know that the Nova community is small. It's like a little niche in the PvP community. There's not like as many Novas as there are Fire Wizards or Ice Wizards. It's a smaller community. So unless a lot of us speak out, then it's not going to be changed, and it's just going to be a dead strat. And this new way of using shadow spells that's never been seen before, it's just going to be dead. So if you want to help, you can send this video to I mean, it's not like the most professional video, but you can send this video to Kingsisle. You can,
or just tweet at Magnetic or at Ratbeard
or you can tweet
at Wizard101 Devs.
Yes. And another way is if you have Test Realm, this little bug thing with the wizard hat and the wings, it's looking kind of fine. Click comment, go to something to change, go to spell, and just type whatever you want about the Nova. And I wrote them a little bit of stuff and talked about it. And I hope that y'all do too, because if the Nova community doesn't speak up, they're just gonna kill the strategy altogether. Because that's effectively what this.
I'm actually so scared that the Nova community isn't going to speak up, because it's more of a niche strategy than other things. Like when they nerf Gaze, there was a lot of outrage because a lot of people use Gaze, but not many people use Nova. Yeah. So if you do care about Nova, yell twice as loud because we need it.
Yeah, you look at it. The Gaze was 250 per head, and so many people were outraged by it. They changed it, so we know that they listened to the community. So if the Nova community says, "Hey, just do it to where it's more reasonable, to 3 rounds, so they have more time to respond to it, to where you actually have to buff up the Nova for it to be able to do a decent amount of damage, and it costs 2 dang shadow pips.
Absolutely.
When you're running the gear that like only one piece gives shadow pip chance, like the boots for my strap, that's the only one that gives shadow pip chance. It's gonna take you a while to even get the shad sometimes. So I just hope they don't just kill the strategy, which is what they're looking at doing right now. I hope you guys do tweet them, do bring this to their attention. Any tips, tricks, questions, comments, any feedback like that, put that in the comments below. Me and Sforus will be reading that, responding
100%.
to that.
Shout out Venom.
Venom765, you're amazing. And with your help, we can hopefully get this changed to where they don't just kill a strategy altogether.
Absolutely.
And
also, go follow my Twitch and YouTube in the description.
Go follow Sforus' Twitch and YouTube. It will be in the description. I was gonna forget that. Thank you for reminding me. But until then, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.